Hello and welcome to Marked Out Wrestling Podcast Wednesday edition. We are going to be talking about tonight's Dynamite, which I believe, unless I'm mistaken, is episode 101 for them. It's near 700 for us. But to join me, my name is Adam Baum, is my co-host on the couch next to me. Hopefully she's unmuted herself, is Kiara.
Hello, world.
See, she knows what's up. And then live via satellite from the set of Deliverance is Brian. What's going on, buddy?
Yep. Just hanging in there, Adam. I made some homemade chutney today. Did some knitting. It was really nice.
Okay. I hope that knitting is ready for the winter. Still hot here, so not too excited for anything yet. Before we get into all of the Dynamite stuff, I wanted to kind of open a discussion. We're obviously in the wake of All Out, and we have a couple big debuts and Punk's in-ring return. But it was something that Mick Foley put on Twitter, and it was kind of actually it might have been on Facebook, but I saw it on Twitter. It's a video where he's talking about WWE and in a kind of pleading manner, like, "Hey guys, get your shit together." You know, and it wasn't so much of a pro AEW thing as it was. I felt like he was trying to get a reality check to the powers that be, or maybe Vince himself. But in essence, what he said, Brian, was, would you trust your career to WWE or AEW if this was your day and age? And you as a former wrestler, who would you trust creatively and whatever else with your career?
No, I mean, like what you were saying, I totally agree with what Mick Foley was saying. And I mean, if we had to pick, I know this isn't what he said, but if we had to pick between AEW and WWE, yeah, I mean, AEW definitely sounds like the more, I mean, you get more creative control, you get paid just as well, if not better than WWE. Apparently benefits are a real thing there. Travel isn't all that crazy. I don't know. I mean, it just sounds a lot more enticing for as far as like an in-ring performer. I don't know. What do you guys think?
And Kiera, the other thing to kind of piggyback off what Brian's saying, another thing that Foley said was, you know, take somebody like Mankind. WWE was the ultimate goal back then, and he said that they booked him perfectly to get him over. Could you imagine if he was on today's WWE trying to get one of those gimmicks over?
Whew. I honestly don't know how that would work out for him if he was wrestling in today's world,
But if he went to AEW in today's world,
oh yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I definitely think they would give him a fair shot, and that he would have a lot of, like Brian just said, a lot of creative control. Maybe like really great incentives.
Well, the incentive of healthcare, and the more and more you get your boys there, the travel benefits. I think that the other thing that we're not talking enough about with somebody like Adam Cole is, you know, the freedom. He can do whatever he wants with Twitch. He doesn't have to worry.
It's like a huge deal to him. I didn't really understand how big of a thing it was, but I guess that was like one of the like make or break things for him.
Yeah, Twitch is really hard to break into, but if you're already in like on the ground floor like he was, and you have some celebrity status like he does, it definitely can be an extra revenue source. I just wanted to kind of get that out there. The other thing that I wanted to unpack before we talk about Dynamite is just a little beef I have with the IWC today. Dynamite was fucking great. It was as advertised and delivered.
Wait.
And
what did you say?
What?
Sorry, I was having my audio cut out. What did you say?
I said Dynamite was great tonight, but I want to talk to IWC for a second and ask why everybody wasn't all hyped up today about Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and their first Dynamite, or talking about CM Punk's new opponent. All they wanted to talk about, Kiera, was fucking KO and Sammy and AJ's contracts. Like, I'm fine with that talk, and that's a different time, but not today.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, this is fresh. we're just coming off the reaction of all these big debuts, the 4 major debuts that we just got over the weekend. So
Oh yeah, Ruby
let's
too.
address that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. Tonight's all about their debuts, Brian. And I thought that today on the Twitterverse and in IWC in general would have been all about that and speculating that next Punk opponent. What's going to happen tonight when Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole make their first Dynamite appearances? And instead, they're talking about their next collector's pieces, which they're not next week. Is why I say you shouldn't talk about them, Brian. They're months away.
It's not until potentially January. Well, I mean, the only thing I will say
well,
is
no,
that
Sammy's
Bucks
November.
were also
Sammy was November
What's
is what I read. I read Sammy
okay,
for
Sammy
November, KO for January.
right. Yeah, the Bucks were also stoking the flames too. I mean, they were posting shit on their Twitter and as was KO. So it's not like this is just totally random. Like obviously that's kind of big news, especially with KO. Apparently he tweeted out the latitude longitude of Mount Rushmore yesterday and quickly deleted it. Obviously he knew what he was doing, but
Not only
I don't know. I mean,
not only that, wasn't there the location is there and the other location was almost there.
Almost there.
I mean,
for
he
the
was
for the Bucks on their Twitter, on their location, on their profile, and and KO says almost there. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of they were dropping hints all left and right. So I mean, it's no secret why they were talking about it, but I get what you're saying. I mean, this was a big fucking Dynamite. Bryan Danielson showing up, Adam Cole, Suzuki.
Right.
We'll talk about it.
Your latest guys haven't even had their Dynamite debuts.
Yeah.
Stop talking about new people. That was just
no, it's right. It's totally true.
It's just a little gripe.
It's like getting more. It's like putting like getting seconds on your plate when you already have a fucking shit ton of food.
Yeah, like you haven't even finished, and you're like, I'm going to get more. You're like, what? You know, it's a buffet. It's unlimited. You can wait.
Yeah.
Kira, I want to pose this to you, and then we'll start our Dynamite reaction. I do want to piggyback off the KO talk for 1 second. The trolling that he was doing between Twitter back and forth with the Bucks. Is there any chance he's trying to do what Randy did, which is just drive his price up to Vince?
Possibly. I mean, Kevin Owens, he's one of the names. He's one of the talents that I don't think that Vince is so quick to let go. I think that would hurt him in his pocket. But at the same time, well, I think it may be a win-win for Kevin either way. But my gut is telling me that Kevin's he may be just trying to just get out, or that's the plan anyway.
And Brian, we all know Kevin Owens can go in between the ropes and stuff.
Yeah.
His in-ring ability is so good that people, I think, overlook how great he is on the mic.
It's very true. And, he's that good on the mic in WWE with, I mean, I don't want to say his legs have been cut out from under him, but they're PG and they have a lot of fucking things that they can't say on there. So for him to be able to do all that stuff and like be that dastardly, I think it says a lot for him. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Adam Cole, right? I think actually didn't Tony said something. I think he mentioned that he was like scared of Adam Cole on Wednesdays.
We'll get there. Don't get ahead of ourselves, Brian. The other thing is, let's not forget that when Jericho and KO were doing their things, it wasn't Jericho carrying KO. They were both like equal footing,
right. Mm-hmm.
kind of like Hunter
definitely.
and HBK in the DX reunion days. These were two top tier guys. There wasn't one doing cohorts. It wasn't like Miz and Mizdow.
Right.
Is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Any event, let's get into Dynamite. We got a lot to talk about here, so I'm not even going to look at the clock. This is not the All Elite hour, but we might go over an hour. So
yeah,
that was a plug for you, Brian.
That was a good plug. I like it. That was
the All Elite hour will go much more in depth, but we're gonna talk about Big Five and then quick hit the rest. The first of the Big Five has to be the Elite and Bryan Danielson. First off, I love the American Dragon moniker being back there on the screen.
Me too, man.
That was just I popped for that almost as much as him. I know that seems so stupid, but anyway, I wrote it in my notes. The Elite, they took the little bit start, and then here comes Adam Cole, and I thought this was so brilliant, guys, because we have story time with Punk, where he said, "I'm going to talk about my time with," and it ended up being Ring of Honor. He swerved. We thought it was going to be all about WWE. Adam Cole, when he said story time here, I thought it was going to be the same thing, Brian. I don't know why that was the direction.
Share his grievances and stuff, and
yeah, I don't know why I thought this was where he was going, and I love that it didn't go there. More importantly, you just mentioned it a second ago. I love the start of it when he just goes right up and gets into Kiera, like this part where he gets into Tony Schiavone's face at the start and says, "I know how close you and Britt are. I want you to stay away from her." I mean, he broke the kayfabe of, "Hey, by the way, we're a couple," like kind of thing. And I mean, his shots fired were at Tony, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, what do you think about, just going there immediately, saying, "Hey, we're a couple"? It's obvious. Everybody knows anyway.
I mean, so you're saying Adam and Tony, so Tony's in the ring. He's
Adam has stolen, the Elite has taken the microphone from Tony, who's supposed to be conducting an interview.
Okay.
Adam Cole has the microphone. And the first thing he says, "I'm going to have a story time with Adam, but before I do that," and he goes after Tony and says, "I know you and Britt are close. Stay the fuck away from her."
Wow. Ooh.
And I don't think Britt needs Brian anyone to fight her battles for her, or that's what Adam was doing here. But I like that they just went right out like, "Hey, we're not going to avoid the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fiance."
I like it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's so fun. They've been playing that, like Tony and Britt have been playing, like they've been friends and on BTE and all that shit. So I don't know. I mean, this is probably something that a lot of people have thought, like, "Oh, I wonder how Adam Cole feels about their relationship." But now it's real because Cole's fucking here. So I loved it, and even the crowd. I mean, you heard the reaction. They even understood too.
My only fear is that this leads to Big Show defending Tony, and so we get Big Show versus Adam Cole.
Oh, man.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Is that really a possibility?
But Adam Cole goes on his ego promo, runs down his resume professionally. He kisses the ass of the Elite, talks about how they built this place, and I'm going to go there. And then he says he's going to make his in-ring debut next week. Quick flash forward to the brawl at the end here. But based on the little exchange, it was one spot that stood out in the brawl, and it was between Kaz and Adam Cole. And I think that's who his in-ring debut is going to be against next week.
That is a perfect first opponent,
isn't it? Isn't it?
Right.
I mean, and I could be wrong there, but I felt like that's what they were doing and setting up here. But before that happens, we have Kenny basically clear the ring, and invite Bryan Danielson in. And he goes for the cheap shot. It gets reversed. He's put in the label lock. I don't know what the fuck it's called now.
Lock, whatever you want to,
yeah, whatever. He's put in his signature submission.
Right.
It's gonna get a new name, I'm sure. But he's got him there. Kenny quickly taps out. Everybody comes to the rescue, and from the Elite. And then we have Christian, Jungle Express, and Kaz come out of the locker room. This is one of two brawls tonight, Brian. And guess what? You get ready to check the tape, everyone.
What? I
approve of both brawls tonight.
Oh, wow.
Both of them?
Both of them. We'll talk about the other one in a minute. But I don't have any problem with Bryan Danielson and Kenny here. And I don't have any problem with Bryan Danielson also losing. You've got heel as fuck faction here, Kira, with Kenny, they could just screw over Bryan Danielson. He doesn't have to lose clean. He doesn't have to tap.
Yeah.
He could just get fucked over by the numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think the feud is just so perfect. I don't think anyone would lose any, any momentum from it.
Right.
Amen. Absolutely.
Who was saying in the group chat? It was forget, was it Dan? No, I don't know. Bob, I don't know. But they were saying, they were like, oh, just another WWE guy get fed to Kenny that's gonna lose. Like, what?
I can't remember who said that.
Okay, now I put no stock into Kenny being number one on the PWI 500. I don't that doesn't matter. That's just that doesn't matter. What I
Why
do
does
put
it matter?
what I do put stock into is I think this is a good way to go. And Bryan Danielson, anybody who picks him to win is wrong. You're going to get a great match. The fans are going to win, like you said. This is a good booking.
Mm-hmm.
And if Adam Cole is going to mess around with the Bucks and stuff like that, that's perfect too. Because I think he can do. Bucks could go with FTR for a minute, and Spears and Cole could go through that. There's a lot of options for Cole to go through there. And the Bucks are still going to book themselves, even though they don't have the belts. So you know that's going to happen.
What about? There's a possibility that Daniel Bryan Danielson wins by DQ, right?
Daniel
By
Bryanson.
DQ, maybe that's what MJ calls him.
Yeah.
He could hit him with a belt or do something fucking heelish and just lose on purpose.
Oh, you think he loses on purpose?
Kenny.
No,
Yeah,
that's what I just got
something.
done saying.
Yeah, but do something right. But do something where it's where he doesn't have to lose the belt.
Oh yeah. He's gonna do some
True
heel
real
shit.
fashion, yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna pin Bryan Danielson.
No.
He's just gonna keep his title. Even if it could be a count out. He could just walk out of the ring.
But on the flip side, I also don't think that keep fucking saying it. Brian Danielson. I don't think he's gonna pin Kenny either. I don't think either of them are gonna pin one another. To be honest,
I'm okay
It'll
with
be a
that.
screw job
yeah,
ending.
Yeah.
It won't be
Right.
clean. Nothing will be clean. We agree on that. So I'm just real excited. We found out enough, Brian. Not everything.
Yeah.
We found out enough. Adam Cole's making his in-ring debut next week. We can salivate and speculate on the opponent there. And we found out that Bryan Danielson's going after Kenny. We're not waiting. So these are good things.
Did Bryan Danielson, did he announce when his in-ring debut will be? Is it not until...
he announced that he wants Kenny kind of thing. I mean, he didn't really announce. I'm sure he'll have a match here and there. It might be one of these 8-man tags. He might just have a one-off against somebody.
I like how they're not wasting any time either. I mean, these guys have come in, they made their debuts, and Adam Cole's already going to be wrestling next week. They're not. I mean, they're giving us enough where we're not getting tired of a little bit of tease, and then they get right to the action.
Well,
I mean,
I think, and Brian, you chime in here if you agree or disagree, but I think that what they're doing is they realize that social media is a huge thing right now. They realize that kayfabe is mostly dead.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you can embrace a character like Malachi Black as the character, but you still know that it's fake. You still know that who's, booking decides everything, blah, blah, blah. I think what they're doing is they're just playing with it. Like, in our next segment, Punk comes out and just says, here I am, I got to say who I'm fighting next.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't try to, make up some promo and have somebody interrupt him like WWE would do. He just said, all right, guys, Darby, thank you. Moving on. Brian, I thought that was...
And it still works. There's nothing wrong with just...
WWE is...
Taz kind of interrupted him.
No. But what I'm saying is WWE conditions me to expect the different. Like, he didn't say, he wouldn't come out and say that he's looking for a new opponent. Taz, this was more like an open challenge that Taz answered, if you will. He said, I got, thank you, Darby. I need a new opponent. Fans of Cincinnati, come on, who do you think my next opponent was? And of course, the name I heard mostly was Mox.
Right.
But he doesn't need to go there. And I think it was it was more of just like Punk even said it. Brian, he said when Taz interrupted him, he's like, all right, I'll give you one, kind of. I'll throw you a bone here.
Right.
To back up the fact that he said he's going to wrestle other people. And he said he was wrestle them all. He name dropped even fucking Hook, Hobbs, and Starks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hobbs is one of the guys that he mentioned. Oh man, I don't even remember when it was. It was before he even agreed to like show up at AEW, or it was before his debut rather. But he was talking about all the young talent, and Hobbs was one of the guys that he named. Obviously, so was Darby. So, I mean, it's clear that he wants to work with like the legit younger talent in AEW, which is fucking awesome. And if you would have asked me, like, name the 5 people in AEW that you think Punk would want to work with, I wouldn't have said Hobbs. I am very surprised by that, but
Yeah.
I don't hate it at all.
Well, see,
I don't really know too much about Hobbs, to be honest. So
I'm the
I'm actually
exact
kinda
opposite.
excited.
I'm the exact opposite, Brian. I'm not looking forward to Hobbs at all. I am looking forward to Starks.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, like,
Yeah, I guess that's the bigger one, huh?
yeah, no disrespect to Hobbs, but he's a big dude that we don't see much of him. He fought Dante Martin tonight.
Dante, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which by the way, this is one of those why I said tonight's show was so good, Kira. They had Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante Martin booked on a show where Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Punk,
CM Punk.
like, yeah, they threw these two guys on there. Talk about a rub. I mean, just to have these two guys featured. Didn't matter that Dante Martin lost his 5-match win streak or whatever that they were trying to make storyline out of. It mattered that Hobbs got name dropped by Punk. I don't know. I think this was a subtle way of making really good booking and really investing in your talent.
Well, he said, Punk said
there was really between Hobbs and Dante Martin, and Hook was he was ringside too. Those are all just I don't want to say that they're like green in a way, but they're absolutely like one of the on the younger side of the AEW roster.
They're graduated from Elevation, maybe.
Well, I don't want to say. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Punk, he did say in his initial promo, he did say he wanted to work with a lot of the young talent and give them a shot, and he's sticking to his word. So
yeah, right. He's not lying.
And he wasn't beating around the bush either. He came out and said, "Who do you want me to fight?" Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're just attacking it from a different standpoint and not trying to give bullshit. And WWE would make you wait like a couple weeks sometimes for someone to make their announcment. Punk's like,
they're listening to the fans.
Yeah, we fought on Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Who's who I'm fighting next? Bryan Danielson went, I'm targeting you. Adam Cole says, I'm fighting next week. Like, this the formula that AEW is currently doing, which is, Brian, against one of my gripes from before, they're getting better at production. So now that they're putting out a product that's better visually, if you will, it feels like they're booking, at least in a promo sense, whatever the opposite of WWE would be.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
Like counterculture, if you will.
Yeah, and like you said, I think you mentioned it before, but they're definitely very in tune. Well, they're good with social media and stuff, but they're also, I think, pretty. I want to say they're actually better. They're definitely way more in tune than WWE is. If we're going to compare, like, with their audience. But
yeah, that's what I was saying.
They definitely have a good finger on the pulse.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Brian just said about being in tune with the audience, I feel like AEW listens to their fans. They allow the fans to like have a voice. And to go back what you were saying about Punk picking his next opponent, it wasn't just like someone coming out to interrupt, even though like Taz came out there. But I feel like, lost my train of thought. I feel like what I'm trying to say. Don't you hate when that happens? I had a point to make, and like I thought of something else.
I do hate when that happens, but like Brian and I get yelled at on Monday when Rob does it to himself. Yeah. Somehow it's our fault.
No.
So it's much different that you go, oh, I hate when that happens.
No, that was me.
He would have been like, fucking Adam.
Yeah. This is what I was gonna. I'll just like conclude it with this. I think it gets cheesy. I think it gets old and stagnant at times when you just you expect someone just to come out there and it's like, oh, this is my opponent, and it could be a flop. It could be like a bad reaction. Like, oh, this is the opponent that he's gonna have at this point in time. I don't know. That's why I kind of like what AEW is doing with this whole thing.
Since you bring that up, I found this to be. I wrote this down, and maybe this is the point to talk about it. AEW, the songs that they're currently picking, from Judas, which everybody sings along on. So they now have everybody singing Cult of Personality.
Right.
They have everybody singing Tarzan Boy when Jungle Boy comes out to Baltimore. Like Wild Thing, everybody sings to Mox when he comes out. It's not even, like I said, to go against what WWE is. It's not even about just that pop. It's now a sustained pop for their entire freaking theme song.
Yeah.
Because you think about the way we were conditioned, guys. You hear Edge's, you think you know me, and you pop. And then there's the whole theme song. You hear Stone Cold's Glass Break, and then there's the whole music. You hear the car wreck for Mick Foley. So we're so conditioned for that 5-second pop. And then the person comes out and we talk over the rest of their entrance and kind of whatever. That now AEW's like, we're going to get the whole entrance and keep our fans through the whole thing. And they pick songs that quite honestly don't get old. I'm not a big fan of Judas, but Wild Thing, Tarzan Boy, I mean, those
they're screaming at it to the top of
Cult of Personality. Fuck,
yeah.
I've been listening to that since Brian was 1.
It's true.
I had it on cassette. I had it on cassette
Rancid too. They got a fucking Rancid song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ruby. Which fuck, Brian, you set me up. I'm gonna take it.
There you go.
That is our next topic. And
Yeah, let's hear about Ruby.
I want Kiera in on this big time at the end of this, but let's discuss what happened first. Ruby sees Britt backstage. Britt says, "Oh, look at you. You got to wrestle on Sunday. Better than the 4 years you spent in catering." So there's a shot fired, which
Spicy.
I guess it's okay because the women haven't done that yet. So, and it was subtle. You have to be in the know to get that reference and what catering is there. But Ruby fought Jamie Hayter. No question she was going to win. Britt attacks after Rio makes the save, not really. Then Statlander comes out and makes the save instead. Here's the other brawl. I'm okay with it here, Brian, and here's why. The women on Sunday showed with the Casino Battle Royal that they finally have some depth in their division. You know, the things that we were so picky about in the early era of Dynamite, they actually have some depth. They probably got about 5-6 women now who could carry the strap. You know, where before it was like, who the fuck is that? You know, we were stuck within the beginning, Kylan Kings and stuff like that, who just, you know, not ready for TV. I'm not insulting those girls, but just we weren't there yet. Now I could name drop a ton. Anna Jay, Nyla Rose, Jade Cargill, Penelope Ford, Bunny. Like, some of these are quote unquote, if you will, divas like Bunny and Penelope, but they're still featured players in the division. You have Statlander. Riho's apparently back. You've had Sheeta as a decorated champ. Britt is running it. Rebel and Hayter are with Britt, so they're getting, you know, like, they're at the point. So this is when I'm going to go negative for the first time tonight, Brian. And it's not about Dynamite. It's about everything in general. And this is, Kara, where I want you to chime in too. Everything I just said about the women's division being so much better than it was, when are they going to get more than one match on Dynamite?
Good question. Well, looking at the size of the roster now and how much it has expanded, honestly, I don't know, but it is a legit
I don't
question.
know that it's expanded that much as it's added depth. Because it's been some of these people have been there for a while.
Yeah.
And are just now getting, like, what, Hayter's been there for a minute, hasn't she, Brian?
She was early on, and then I think with COVID and stuff, I think it was tough. Travel was an issue, I believe.
Okay. Statlander got hurt. Penelope was with Kip for a while. Bunny was with, Butcher and Blade. Nobody's new. It's just they're finally being looked into some story arcs, if you will.
I mean, with the new program now with Rampage, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can like find some slots for them in either Rampage or Dynamite or even.
I think there's plenty of opportunity on Dynamite. There are enough women of name ID to warrant more than one match.
Yeah.
And I feel like the brawl at the end of this match, while it was good to get all these people out there, is ultimately leading us to a 6-woman tag match.
Yeah.
Which you don't need if you have more than one match, as I guess why the
We know you
full
don't
arc.
like that. I don't like it either.
Yeah, I think these women deserve more time. I think the women's division is finally where it should be.
Rocky on the board, he says, did Statlander not get the title because she doesn't cut promos? I don't actually know if she's bad at promos, but I can't remember ever really hearing a promo.
Right.
They've stuck her with the best friends to kind of hide that, Brian.
Yeah, I guess.
Rocky's
I can't
right.
really
She doesn't really talk.
Yeah.
Rocky's right. Check the tape. I think either A, it's because she's an alien, is her character, or B, because she can't talk.
Yeah, and the board is also, they're kind of upset about how Ruby was handled tonight.
Okay.
Just about how Ruby, I guess how Jamie, got a lot more offense in and made Ruby, not look as strong as perhaps she should have in her debut match.
That's fair. I didn't really think about that.
Which is true. I mean,
Yeah.
but also, Jamie is relatively newish. She's new-ish to the audience as well. So I thought it was actually a weird booking to put the two of them together, to be honest.
Brian, do you know who determines I know your boy Jerry Lynn is over there as one of the coaches, but do you know how they determine the match? Because maybe this is the match that Hayter and Soho put together. Before
you mean, who's like a producer or agent or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
I don't really. No, I know Dustin works a lot, I believe, with a lot of the women's roster over there.
Maybe this is the way
I'm not sure.
we were trying to build up Ruby, I guess, as a chaser of the title.
Yeah.
So you can't have her just come out and decimate the heavy that's with the champ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd be like destroying Wardlow.
I agree. I think it was good for both of them, honestly. I mean,
right.
Ruby, she took some punishment, but I mean, she also won the match and she looked good herself, so I think it was a win-win.
Yeah. I don't have as much of a problem with it because she's the heavy, she's the hired muscle. When you had to go through Diesel to get to HBK or something like that, it was okay.
I got to go back to the question you asked me. I actually had a question. Are you concerned, or are you implying or seeing that maybe AEW is not knowing what to do with the roster for the women right now?
No, because I think they in order for them to get me to this point in the conversation, I think they've done their job.
Okay.
I worry, and Brian, maybe you can talk about this a little more. I worry there was something that surfaced several months ago that it's TNT that will not allow it. And
Whoa.
did not want more than one women's match booked. And it was screwed up because that was when they did the Thunder Rosa and Britt. And AEW was trying to show TNT is what this story speculated. Could be all conspiracy, Brian. But it speculated that they marched out Britt and Thunder Rosa to make a point, and that match was the #1 rated portion of Dynamite that week. And for a couple other weeks after that, it was like 3 times in a month, the match that had the most views was the women's match. And if it lent truth to if that's AEW going, hey guys, you got to let us control our programming completely and not tell us just one women's match, because now the division's there and they're still only doing one. So my concern is if they're handcuffed by TNT or not. Brian, do you know anything about what I'm just saying?
That's new for me.
I haven't heard I haven't heard anything of that. I'm not saying it's not true or not. I haven't seen anything like that. But
I know it's a
I mean,
conspiracy. It's a potential conspiracy theory thing. I mean,
yeah,
I read it. It wasn't on Sportskeeda. It was, people that are just regular Twitter people that were
sure.
speculating, hey, this is what happened and this is what there. And they had some sources, not great credibility, but it was definitely in the Sami Zayn conspiracy vein.
Right. No, I mean, I think you're right. I think at this point, the roster is. I mean, it's definitely getting there. It's a lot better than where they were, say, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago. But yeah, now you have a former champion with Riho there, and now there's also a lot of talk. I don't know whether or not it's going to happen, but Deonna Purrazzo, she's also been like knocking on the forbidden door too. She's been very vocal about wanting to come over, and because they don't really have any women that are involved in like going like cross promotional stuff on Dynamite or Impact.
No, Thunder Rosa. That's how she
I
started.
guess Thunder Rosa and I guess Camille. Like they did that with the NWA recently, but I mean Thunder. I guess
Dude,
those are
and
really
Awesome
new,
Kong
no
was
one
there as part of
Awesome
Glow.
Kong. Yeah, it's true.
Say
Yeah.
it again.
Awesome Kong came over from Glow.
From Glow, yeah. Oh, that's true. No, I guess I meant more so with Impact.
That's
since
the
obviously
real
we know that
Forbidden Door.
We're working together. Oh, she's not from Impact. I mean, you could say she's from WWE.
No.
Pharma, she's
At the
Pharma.
time, she was part of the cast of Glow still.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it hadn't been canceled yet.
No, that's true.
So that's why I was saying. It was a bad joke,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is an ambitious thing by AEW here, but I'm all for it. I think they need to take swings like this and take chances like this. We all know that MJF is a crazy shit heel. We all know that he pinned Jericho, even though Jericho's foot was obviously on the rope. So he can say, I didn't lose. You guys made me restart the match I'd already won, blah, blah, blah. Typical heel after he loses speech. Nothing wrong with that. Then he hate fucks the city of Cincinnati. He starts with whoever Aunt Linda is. Moves on to Brian Pillman's daughter. And then Brian Pillman Jr., of course, has to come out at that point to protect his sister's honor. But this took this felt just like normal Carney shit, Brian. And then
Carney shit.
He's getting the boos in the heel town, like, oh shit, Cincinnati, this is a shitty town,
Gotcha.
blah blah blah. Like, okay, this felt like normal heel shit. Like, maybe turned up to 11, but it was normal to me.
Right.
Then he started talking about Metheny. And
oh my God, I couldn't believe that he fucking.
Melanie.
Did he actually
yeah.
say that?
Yes, he said your drug-addled mom, Metheny, should have swallowed you. And then later he got hit before he could say aborted.
Right.
Man.
Whew.
Yeah, that was pretty. I'm surprised he was fucking going there, man.
Right?
That
That dude knows how to
especially with
ride
them,
that
like,
line.
Right there, with Linda Pillman, that's her name. She was right there ringside next to like some of her family, next to Brian's sister, I think it was, right?
Is Linda Brian's sister?
No, Linda is. Oh, you mean Brian Senior?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
So that's Brian.
That's why it was
now,
Aunt
but
Linda.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And she was like huge as far as like keeping the family together after everything kind of, went south after Brian Pillman Senior died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fucked up. That was some shitty things that MJF was saying that I really feel like only MJF can kind of get away with. Any other wrestler you do that, they'd be like, internet would be fucking tearing them apart. But if MJF does it, well, no, that's all right.
I had other notes, but I don't even care about that whole shit that he was talking about with Mid. That doesn't even matter. Him calling out Wardlow for not helping him on Sunday, that didn't even matter. Him knocking Griff to the moon doesn't matter. I do like this spot though for Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, Kira, he's been sacked with the tag team mostly on Elevation and Dark, and here he is in a featured feud with MJF, who
That's pretty
arguably
big.
is your top heel, not counting the Elite.
That's major for him.
And
I would like to see. I would be interested to see how that feud goes.
it's not a bad one. He has to fight. Who the hell was it that came in the locker room at the end, Brian? Who does he have to fight next week? Or is it on Rampage?
Oh yeah. Who the fuck was that?
Not the Acclaimed. It's the other one.
Oh well, they're both the Acclaimed. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. That's right.
Yes.
So it was Max Caster. It was Caster that challenged him. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, there we go.
I really like this spot because they're finally using, and I don't know if Punk awoke in them or they just have to because of what Punk said, but they're finally using some of their names to fight some of their no names.
Mm-hmm.
And not just in a match, but a feud.
Could be.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, this one just kind of makes sense just because Pillman, I mean, he's the hometown guy. Well, his dad played for the Bengals or whatever. That's why he was wearing the jersey. No, this is a great spot, and I don't know, man. I do kind of hope that MJF like would work with, I don't know, Danielson or like one of the new guys.
He
but
will
I guess this is
eventually.
Okay. It's
He
good
will
that they're
eventually.
elevating one of the guys that they already have.
He will eventually.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I know.
one of the
I'm just
gems
excited,
from MJF, Kira, was when he looked at his sister, who's obviously in her 20s, and said, "Oh, what are you, 16 and pregnant?"
Ooh.
Like MJF was just so rare
Oh
for
my
him.
gosh.
He's such a fucking asshole. And then we'll continue on the Cincinnati train. Mox and Suzuki. I don't want to talk too much about this, Brian, because I'm giving this a pass for the night. Because here's what I think happened. This match wasn't supposed to end the way it did. I think it was called for TV. I think they ran out of time because some other people like Punk and Bryan Danielson and Cole ran over. And they didn't have anything they could do because it looked like when the show was about to go off air, the Mox was grabbing a chair like he was going to continue for the crowd. And I think it's because they had to call the finish early because Suzuki does not go down that easily.
No, but I mean, it was a TV match, and he got fucking busted open, which is
That's true.
pretty wild. He was bleeding. He was bleeding pretty good, but
And I don't know if it was his skin tone or what, but that blood looked extra bright. Extra bright. Like, I was like, this man's gushing neon blood. Might have been the screen. Maybe I got to check the contrast. Anything on the board as we move forward? Because we're going to go into quick hits here. I truly believe that Mox and Suzuki was not supposed to be that brief. That's all I'll say.
Gotcha.
maybe, I mean, maybe it'll come out and they'll say that, but
It just was
we'll see.
underwhelming. For the main event in his hometown and what he's capable of, it felt underwhelming.
Yeah. No,
Maybe-
you're
maybe
right. You're
Tom did
right.
run
I was a
over.
little
Maybe they
surprised
did.
too. I was like, oh, what? 10 and 9:45, 9:50. Come on, like start this match.
Yeah, it started so late, and I mean,
Looks like they ran over.
it had to run over. They need to get to the status level with TNT. Like, hey, if we run over, it's okay. Like Nitro used to have in the WCW days. You know, like, hey, if we
Yeah.
run over, it's okay. We won't do it on Thunder, but we'll do it on Nitro. All right, so let's go to quick hits. Wait. Before quick hits, there's two more topics. Lesser to talk about, but I wanted to get your opinion, Brian, and Kiera a little bit too, because you probably would agree with me. I don't know if Brian would. What is it? Dan Lambert? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I felt like Dan Lambert tonight was pretending as if he was the voice of Vince McMahon. Like, oh, AEW, you got these guys. Who gives a shit? You know, you can't book this right. You guys don't know your ass from your elbow. Like, he was saying all the things that the haters of AEW and the IWC say
Right.
out in social media on a daily basis, and a lot of them use Vince as their rationale. Well, Vince would say this. Oh, Vince doesn't care about them, or Vince does this. He even brought up the line about 5'9" or something. I think was the height. He said, "You know, you keep bringing in all these short people."
That's true. That is a good point.
Did you?
Could be. I mean,
You didn't get that vibe at all?
in all honesty, I was finishing eating my dinner, and I think that was the only promo that I didn't really get to really focus on.
Please go back and watch it, because I really would like, and I know you had to go deal with the kids during that. But, you know, Men of the Year were sitting there trying on his sides, like trying to get the crowd to be quiet, because I think this was a huge, huge thing to have them paired together. And the shots he was taking were very WWE diehard fans on social media shots,
Right.
or what we've read were quotes
Yeah.
of Vince.
The only thing though that, I mean, I don't want to say I'm not going to knock the segment or whatever, but like both those guys weren't in WWE. You know what I mean? Like it'd be one thing if he were saying that and like his guys were WWE guys. But
That's the point though, and that's what's even weirder, because he's Dan Lambert's a UFC guy,
yeah,
or
he's like an
MM,
MMA
not UFC,
Yeah,
MMA.
he
He's
might be UFC. I don't know, but he's an MMA guy.
he's an MMA guy, who originally had two MMA fighters that he was kind of coming out and talking shit with,
Right.
and now he's got these two guys. I don't know. I think they changed it up, and I think they decided, hey, you're a good mouthpiece. That wasn't working. We're gonna put you
Yeah.
out here, and we're
don't
gonna
hate
get
it.
you hate fucked because you're gonna go against the cult. We'll see what happens. Because
Right.
it's really weird, because MJF can go against AEW fans, and they're like, oh, he insulted me. They'll love it. But, like, you know, others don't. So Dan Lambert probably needs security to escort him out every night, and I think that's why he was doing his promo from Sting levels. I will say this, Ryan, in quick hits. I like no Jericho tonight. Love it. I like no Darby or Sting. Love it. You don't need these guys out here every night. I love the little recap that Kingston and Miro did about the nut shot. I love the one later on that Tay and Anna Jay and Ford and Bunny and Jade and Nyla and Thunder Rosa did for the Battle Royal. I love the one that Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy did, where he said, you need a haircut. And he said, whatever. Like, I mean, this is the way you do a show after a pay-per-view. They addressed the feuds. They didn't necessarily continue them.
Mhm.
And they also set up other ones too, like future like programs as well.
Right, like
most
Hardy
part.
and OC, that's new. That carried over from the pre-show. The others, they're just like, hey, you remember us. I know we didn't win the Battle Royal, but we're going to get a little shot in here. And then Kingston and Miro, don't forget, you know, and we'll go for another one there. I don't know. I that was, if we were still doing awards marked out moment, that was kind of mine for it, the way they recapped that.
Wait, but that is weird that Miro wasn't there. You don't think that's weird?
He had the little thing there. No, I keep saying you don't need to book everybody. He had the little thing, have him show up on Friday. You got two shows a week now,
What's that?
Brian.
Did I miss something?
You got two. Yeah, he had a little promo with Kingston where they were talking about the nut shot.
Oh, then I missed that.
Oh, go back and watch. Apparently you missed more than
God
you
damn
think
it.
you did.
Yeah, god damn it.
Where was I? Oh, and the final thing before we get into quick hits, Dark Order at the end of the trios match started fighting amongst themselves. Thought -1 was in charge. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with that? I do enjoy that. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at it, but like all the guys weren't fighting each other. They were like pairing off, I think, and just like going off on the like teams. There was like 3 sub teams, I think, of the guys that were
it
like,
was
going
it was
against one
Uno
another.
and Silver that were kind of the main two, and then the rest kind of went behind
Alan
them 2 and
Angels,
2.
I think, was throwing punches too.
Colt was there. 10 was there. Preston.
Yeah, Colt was there trying to make the peace. I
Yeah,
don't think
and
he
Preston
really-
was too. At the end, they were holding off, and
Right.
then Uno came, and I can't remember who. I think they were holding Silver.
Well, we had Tay. Yeah, they were, and then we had Tay and Anna Jay. They came out and they were really kind of indifferent about.
Well, now
you know.
Ty's not technically Dark Order. Anna is for sure,
Yeah,
but I thought Ty was just a friendly.
she's not like in Dark Order, but because she's friends with Anna, she's sort of, I guess, friendly, I guess, enough with them. But
Okay.
Rocky says Colt Cabana needs to step up.
Mm.
Yeah, why does it have to be an outside member? Can it be somebody within?
Well, I would say like 9 out of 10 times yes, but considering who the rumored person is coming in, I think that makes a lot of sense too.
What do you
Correct.
think about Hangman returning and saying, "All right, guys, I have to keep the peace. I'm going to take over." It doesn't have to be Mr. Wyatt,
Yeah,
or sorry, Mr. Wyndham.
yeah.
No,
Mr. Wyndham.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rotunda.
Yeah. I don't hate that, but
He's got 2 last names.
Yeah.
yeah, he does. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't really see Hangman. I want to see Dark Order go a little bit more, get like that more edgy side. Like their funny haha stuff it's good. It ran its course. You
Well,
had to do
what
it after Brody, but
what if that's
now
what they're
I'm
doing
seeing
here,
that.
Brian?
I know. Exactly. I think this is what we're seeing. I wanna
Evil
see
Uno
where
is
it
going to
goes.
take the evil versions away, and Silver's going to lead the funny ha-has.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be like a Dark Order Civil War.
Wolfpack.
Yeah. Oh, or Wolfpack. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Wolfpack is just
Or,
your go-to whenever there's a split of a faction that's so big.
Was there ever another faction that like had a subgroup? Sure, there was, but
Yes, there was Nexus and Core.
no.
Yes, yes.
But
That's what happened when the half of Nexus went to SmackDown. They became Core. It's
What about-
close.
yeah, okay, but that's not the same. But they're not the same faction. They're like,
Who cares?
they're separating.
We got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
We got last of the quick hits here, and then we got some plugs. I'll do a couple of plugs now. Pac and Andrade on Friday for Rampage. We finally get that.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Sometime between now and Monday, we'll have the All Elite Hour. Monday's show is kind of in flux. We're gonna do whatever we want basically right now. But we will be on at 10:30. We're not waiting for Raw to go off, and we're not covering WWE. So we'll probably focus on some big dirt sheets and some other big topics there. But come back and check us out there. And also we've got patreon.com/MOWP. The Bionic one will be getting our All Out reactions up there shortly.
Yes, those will be up by Friday.
Yes. And let's see. The last 2 quick hits here.
Quick hits.
Dustin and Malachi Black. I thought this match was shite.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was what it had to be to tell the story they were trying to tell here.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but ultimately, I think they're just leading towards another Cody rematch.
Well, and they just needed to tell the story of like his character too, like how he stalked his prey. I think when Dustin kicked out of that one move, he's like, "Oh, you want to keep fighting? Okay," because Black didn't go back for a pin for a while after that
Right.
that first false finish, if you will. So, and I think this was just like, well, Kara knows this better than anybody because of those 2 damn cats that she has. But it was just a cat playing with their prey. Like, there was never any doubt that he was going to go over Dustin. It was just,
Yeah.
I mean, Dustin barely had any shine. You know how the cats, I mean, how many animals have they brought in?
A lot, several.
bunnies and geckos
Yeah.
and weevils.
Geckos.
Any
Balls.
and everything. Look what I
Ugh.
brought for you.
Yeah. And then the final quick hit here. Here's my second petty of the night.
Oh, here we go.
Did Tully Blanchard challenge Sting? Did that really happen? Because I only got not using the women enough and this to gripe about, but this is a big one. I don't want to see that.
I mean, I don't think they would actually put that match on. No way.
He
I know
said,
you said that he challenged him, but I think it was just more like,
dude, he
don't
was
try.
talking to
Like, it was
Tony.
more like, what's that?
He was talking to Tony. He said he was talking to Tony. He goes, hey, I want a match for my boy Spears against Darby. Oh, yeah, and Sting, don't think I forgot about you.
Yeah. So what are we gonna? So what do you think? It's gonna be FTR and Tully against Sting, Darby, and who?
I don't even care.
I don't want to see that. I mean,
Exactly.
Tully, he already wrestled the match, and it was actually pretty. It was all right. It wasn't bad, right?
It
You remember
wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. But
And it was a 6-man tag match. Tully
yeah,
didn't say, hey, grab your two boys and I'll grab mine, Sting, and we'll go have another tag. He said, I got you, Sting. Like, kind of attitude.
no,
Like,
I don't know, man. That would be crazy. to do
That
A
would be
one-on-one.
crazy.
it was bad.
I
That
mean,
was
I mean,
my
that's the way
jump
that
the
they
shark
put it.
moment of the night.
Tessa comes in, right, and like beats the shit out of Sting.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not putting that out into the universe.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Okay. Maybe if it's an opportunity for Tessa to come in, but yeah, why would she come in while her daddy's fighting Sting 30 years
know. I
after
was
they
just talking
fought
shit.
last?
Don't listen to me.
In any event, like I said, come back sometime over the weekend. We'll have the All Elite Hour breaking down more in depth the matches and such for Dynamite. And Brian, are you recording after Rampage?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be after Rampage. Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
be on the weekend.
So that they might have some reaction to the Andrade and Pac thing.
Correct. Yes.
But
correct.
join Kyle, MJ, and Brian there for that. And then back here Monday, we'll be talking about potentially anything but WWE. So come back then. Rob will be with us. Kara will be less mommied and be able to participate more. So that'll be good too. And then we'll be back next week for Dynamite. Patreon.com/MOWP. If you like us, give us some money. Subscribe there. If not, and you're on YouTube, hit that like button. Thank you to Rocky and the others that were up on the chat board, on our YouTube live chat board that we do live. Hopefully we'll rip the audio and you'll hear us on the podcast too. Until next time, I am Adam Baum. This is Kira. That's Bionic Brian. And we'll be back. Same smart time, same smart channel.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Fuck that podcast.
He doesn't know what you're doing.
Oh no, he did it better than I did.
Oh, he did?
Podcast is produced
So
and
wait.
edited by U-Record Studios.
Well, that's
and is
'cause you're
recorded
from
live from
Chicago.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live following WWE programming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle Ravepro. That's RAVEPRO.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.